Hey guys, it's Nefas here. It's time to Nefas and Chill. Now, a lot of you guys have tuned into my streams over to Midyear Mayhem and asked me, well, how do you become Emperor and what do you get when you become Emperor and what's up with your stats? So in this video, I'm going to go over a very basic guide on how to become Emperor in ESO and what you get for being Emperor in ESO, and then what you get after you are dethroned as Emperor. Now, the first thing you want to do if you want to get to Emperorship is probably set aside at least 12 to 24 hours of playtime. I know that sounds pretty extreme, but there's a reason for this, and this is because there are other players that are gunning for Emperorship as well. The best time to start your Emperorship run is going to be at the start of a new campaign. For example, in Blackreach, this 30-day campaign, the campaign is ending in 2 days and 13 hours. Once that hits, once that resets, that's when you start grinding alliance points. And what are alliance points? Alliance points are what you get in turn for, player kills, defending keeps or resources, taking keeps, and so forth, and turning into dailies and whatnot. And slowly over time, but surely, you will get alliance points. And this will count towards your leaderboard score. To become an Emperor, you must be number 1 in your faction leaderboards. This does not mean you need to be Emperor overall. You don't have to beat the number 1 score of an AD number 1 or a DC number 1. You just have to be a number 1 of your faction. If you're EP, for example, if you're on DC, you have to be number 1 in DC. If you want to be an AD Emperor, you have to be number 1 in AD. You don't have to beat anyone else. For example, Delora on DC in Blackreach has 22.5 million AP. I don't have to beat Delora's AP count for me to become the EP. I have to beat everybody else's on EP. Now, how do you get so much AP? There's a couple tricks and tips I can share with you guys. The first thing is the Dell Buff. Now, not a lot of people know this still. When you go into a delve and kill any delve boss, you get something called the Blessing of War. It lasts for an hour. It's a buff that gives you about 20% AP or less, because it doesn't seem to be calculating very well, but just take it as 20% AP. Will show up in your character sheet called Blessing of War. After that, you just pretty much start PvPing. You don't have to always keep up the Blessing of War every hour. There are times when you need to kind of just say, screw it, I'm not going to go into a delve because I got to defend this keep and get that defense tick. Speaking of ticks, there are 2 types of ticks: defense ticks, or D ticks, as most of the PvP community will say, or offensive ticks, or O ticks. Defensive ticks are ticks or AP ticks you get after you successfully defend a resource or a keep. Now this, how the D ticks work is basically for a keep defense, it has to become unflagged, or you have to kill somebody within the range of the keep, and that will also count as a D tick. Same for the resources, and there's a fabulous add-on you can use called AP Meter, made by Ghostbane. And what this AP Meter will actually tell you right here, if you are on PC, if you're on console, unfortunately you don't have access to this, it's gonna tell you right here, about here, if you're within range of a keep or a resource or not, and that'll determine whether you get the D tick or not. However, don't let that fool you, because you can actually get D ticks far away from a keep or a resource long after you've defended it. One thing I've also noticed is after you successfully defend a keep and the D-tick still hasn't appeared yet and you defend another keep, defending that keep will actually override the previous D-tick, so be careful about that. Now, O-ticks actually get you less than a D-tick would. And that's just how it works. D-ticks will net you more AP and O-ticks will net you less AP. And of course, both scale off of how much goes on, how many players are killed, how much action there was, and how long it lasts for. So for example, during the Midyear Mayhem, I tweeted about it and also made a YouTube community post about it. We got a 230,000 AP tick during Midyear Mayhem at Fort Ailes, and that was about a 2.5 hour siege. So that's just to give you an idea of the scale of the fight and how long it lasted to give you that much AP. But that was again with double AP, so without double AP that'd be about 115k AP tick at the moment. And of course, that's pretty much all you have to do. Killing players also is going to give you a lot of AP, especially players you haven't killed too many times before, or players who haven't died a lot. Additionally, you don't want to be in large groups, as that will diminish your AP gain, and you always preferably want to be in groups of up to maybe 5 at most when you're trying to farm AP. And that's another way you can get AP as well. Farming kills, taking your resource and waiting for people to show up and getting D-ticks off those resources. And of course, participating in everything. Now, one thing I want to mention is a lot of players will also point out you can get a lot of alliance points from healing during large fights. That is true. And that kind of works in conjunction with the fact that if you have a source of minor or major mending up while you repair walls, it will actually repair the wall for more and net you more AP. That's also another trick you can use. Speaking of repair kits, for your door repair kits and your stone wall masonry repair kits, you can use those two to farm AP. Now, there's a time and place for everything. When the campaign is dead or there isn't too much activity, that's when you should start repairing walls and doors. If there's fights going on and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I better repair, that's probably the wrong move. You need to participate in as many fights as possible to get ahead of other people on your leaderboards. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how you're going to climb to number 1. And of course, like I said at the start of the video, that requires at least 12 to 24 hours of straight gameplay because everybody else is getting for Emp usually at the beginning of a campaign, because that's the easiest to get Emp or get ahead. Because let's say you come in now, 28 days into the campaign, how are you going to catch up to 20 million AP? How are you going to catch up to 14 million AP? Just not possible. It's just not possible. And a large part of you getting Emp, and I'll explain how this happens, is going to be your faction taking the 6 keeps around Imperial City. So we have Chalman, Blue Road Keep, Alesia, Robeck, Ash, and Ayleswell. These outposts, Sejanus, Bleakers, and Nickel, do not count towards the Emperor Keep. So you'll also see the Emperor Keeps or Imperial Keep statuses here. I've been showing you here on the leaderboards, keeps required for Emperor. And once your faction captures all 6 keeps around Imperial City, you will be droned Emperor if you are number 1 on your faction leaderboards. And of course, this requires not just people to help you, but probably a group of friends, community, guild. And then there's a whole fact that it's a very human endeavor because, again, there's other people gunning for Emperorship. So there's going to be potentially a lot of politicking. I'm sure some of you in the comments will, for those of you who did push for him, maybe in the more active campaigns, will probably recall that there's a lot of politicking that may happen or a lot of drama that can happen. But I would just kind of ignore that and just keep pushing for number 1. Anyway, once your faction takes all 6 M keeps, you're going to become Emperor and you're going to get all these neat passives. And that plays into why you guys saw me with a whole bunch of stats that didn't make sense during Midyear Mayhem. And here are the passives for Emperor that you get once you achieve Emperorship in your campaign in Cyrodiil. The first passive is called Monarch. While you are Emperor, you get a 50% increased healing received while in your campaign. The second passive is Authority. While you're Emperor, increase your ultimate generation by 100%, basically doubled, while in your campaign. The third passive is Domination. While you are Emperor, increase your health, magicka, and stamina recovery in combat by 100% while in your campaign. And Tactician. While you are Emperor, increase your damage done with siege weapons to keeps and other siege weapons by 100% while in your campaign. And this works for oils, this works for, I believe, rams as well from what I tested, and also ballistas and so forth. And while you are Emperor, then the last passive is called Emperor, increase your max health, magicka, and stamina by 75% while in your campaign. Now, once your Emperorship is lost, once all 6 keeps are taken, it has to be every of the 6 keeps that need to be taken, you will be dethroned and you will lose the title of Emperor. However, you will still retain the title of former Emperor, and you'll also get to still keep the Emperor's Regalia costume. And also, of course, you also retain the color from being or becoming Emperor, as so here. And you also still have the achievement called Emperor. And that's pretty much it. Now, probably the final question is it worth trying for Emperorship? Yeah, I would say so. It's definitely one in a lifetime experience. The first time can be very hard. I remember my first time many years ago being very difficult in terms of activity, sleep, and definitely stress. But after that, it gets easier if you want to keep going for it. And definitely, I would suggest or recommend anyone try it out at least once. And hopefully, you guys will be fortunate enough